Hey, CSM service leaders, it's your weekly message from Christine and Shook, who's behind the camera every week and makes this happen. Hey, this weekend is the last weekend of Game Change. Can you believe it? It's a party. So here at Oakley, we're going to be going to main stage to celebrate with them. There's going to be stories up on the screen. They're going to be able to celebrate and find out what's been happening in the building as a whole. So for Saturday night, you're going to go to the second level and sit to the section that's farthest to the right. I think it's actually called the 100 section. And for Sunday morning, we're going to be sitting on the third level because they're expecting it to be packed and be in sections 100 and 200 on the third level. Because there's so many of us where we used to sit years ago on the second level, we don't fit anymore. It's a good thing. So that's awesome. That's what we're doing this weekend. There'll be a sign on the door. If you are texting or getting hold of your kids, make sure they get there on time. If they're late, it's going to be harder for them to find us and harder for them to sit with their pod. So if you text your kids or get a hold of your kids in any way, let them know we'll be on time this week, but we will have a sign on the door and hopefully they can find us and we'll have a person waiting at the room. That means service leaders, you might need to be the person who stays behind. Don't expect that that'll be the service that you can necessarily see the entire service. As the service leader, you might have to be the person who stays behind and tells them where to go. That's it for this weekend, but I suddenly have an urge for Twizzlers.
Hey, it's me, Trail Luaus. Hey, are you spending too much time on the job catching up on the latest? Well, that's cool, because with Twizzlers Choice Licorice, you can eat it on the job and not get fired. That's what's great about the way it is. Twizzlers is the taste.
All right, we are going to continue to give you updates weekly, but if you're somebody who thinks a little further ahead, like, I don't know, Buckner, we wanted to give you an update that we're already programming for the couple of weeks after that. The week after that, we are going to start back up telling God's big story. We might drop using the word storying, so you might want to drop that from your lingo because it was a very formatted way that we're kind of figuring out doesn't exactly work based on feedback. So we're going to just start calling it probably, God's big story. So we're going to continue to tell God's big story, but maybe start doing it in a way that's slightly more CSM style. So the week after that, we're going to talk about Psalms. And so the way that we're going to do that is that we're going to have, actually, I want you to be excited about how much we have on the board right here. This is the creative room, and this is how far we're programming ahead right now. Game Change got us behind, but I'm excited that there's stuff on the board for the next couple of weeks. So for the week of Psalms, we're going to start out with worship that day. We're working on it for you up there, Buckner. We might be sending somebody, and we've got somebody from here. We're going to start out with a song at the beginning because Psalms, you kind of have to have music that week. So we're going to have maybe the song 40 at the beginning. The next thing that we're going to do, which is why you might need to know in advance, is have 4 people, and they could be leaders or students, but it would be really cool if they were students, who read a psalm directly out of the Bible. We're going to choose those and send them to you, so you could be looking who could fit them, so that you could show, like, Psalms has a lot of different things. There's one where David calls himself a worm. There's times where he's angry at his enemies. There's times where he's really worshiping God. There's times where he's joyful. They're all over the place. And so we're going to have students read 4 different ones. So one student reads one, another student reads another one, and at the end say one sentence that sort of says how they connect with that. We're trying to make it feel more connective. So that's what we're going to do. Then after that, we're going to have students go back to their pod, and in their pod, talk about what they really feel towards God, what's really going on in their lives, and as a pod, come up with one sentence, and then we're going to pull them all together at the end to create one large psalm for each service. So the way that we're going to do that here, I'll probably help turn it into a psalm, and we're thinking maybe Jim Tollett could do that at Mason, and maybe Bostic could do it for Saturday night. People we know who probably have a little bit of an ability to write and turn it into something sort of like a poem. So you might want to cue those people up at your services. And also, at the end, we're going to pull it back together, and while that person's sort of sculpting all those into something formatted, we're going to do more music. So music, there'll be music, reading psalms, writing psalms, singing a song again, reading what will be your service's new psalm. That's it. So I think I suddenly feel like a Twizzler again.
Hey, it's me, Trail Luaus. One time I went asleep with a ton of Twizzlers in my mouth. And the next time when I woke up, It was like Patriots Day inside my mouth. God bless America. Twizzlers is the taste.
Alright, we're back. Do you want a Twizzler now or what? Alright. Really? I know what we're even doing the week after that, so we want to give you just a heads up. We're going to do Jonah the week after that because we're entering into books of prophecy that are at the end of the Old Testament. So that week we're going to talk about Jonah. If you were at the leader retreat, you remember that I taught on Jonah on Sunday morning. We're going to do it in that style. We're going to tell the story of Jonah, but we're going to actually start the day with a Swedish fish spit. Right now, stop everything you're doing and try saying that 5 times in a row. Swedish fish spit, Swedish fish spit. You will probably say a bad word. I'm just saying. It happened. So, Swedish fish spit at the beginning, whoever can spit the furthest. And then we're going to follow up with telling the story of Jonah in a creative, expressive way, not just reading it. And then we are going to talk about how there's different stages you might be at, just like Jonah. Have the kids go back to their pods and talk about where might they be that's like Jonah? Are they feeling right now like they're not obeying God? Or are they feeling like they've been thrown over and they're in the whale right now? Or do they feel like they've been spit up on shore? We'll set that up, and that's exactly what the teaching should look like. So you could be thinking who could teach that at your service as well. So, and tell the story of Jonah, especially if it was somebody who was at the retreat and sort of saw it done. And then the other thing, I'm looking back at the board, sorry, the other thing they should talk about in their pod is why is Jonah considered a book of prophecy? And hopefully that'll stir up some conversation about Jonah being in a whale for 3 days. I don't know, Jesus being in the tomb for 3 days. There's some interesting stuff there. So that's it. We're going to talk about Jonah. The following week will be the end of this year and the end of the Old Testament. So we're going to set up kind of like the end of prophecy recap. It'll be exciting. We'll have more for you next week. That's it. I might want more Twizzlers now.
Oh, great. Oh, great. Oh, great. My friend is hanging off a cliff, and he's about to die. Quick, call a guy with a rope. No. Extra long. Twizzlers is the taste.